waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord, can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord, oh Lord. Well, if you told me you were drowning, I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own two eyes. Wipe off that grin. No way it didn't. It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord.
The fact that any American citizen would think that what they did today would solve a problem in this country is absolutely disgusting. You want to solve a problem in this country? On election day, go in there and vote for who you want. You know why? Because before most of you were born, an American soldier died for you to have the right to disagree with somebody else in this country. I'm tired of the hatred. I'm tired of the division. I'm tired of people talking about Trump and Biden. Let me tell you something. There's people in this crowd that agree with Trump. There's people in this crowd that agree with Biden. Guess what? That is your God-given American right to believe whatever you want. That right was bought with sacrifice. Sacrifice from a dead police officer. Sacrifice from a dead firefighter. A dead soldier that went over and said, you know what, I'm going to die for something bigger. So I don't give a damn who you vote for. And I don't give a damn how you feel about what's on the news. There's only three things I give a damn about tonight. You listening to me? They are red, white, and blue.
Well, hello there. I know I haven't streamed in a while. I want to get my thoughts in order, so I'm gonna log my thoughts. I mean, I don't know if they're right, they're wrong, they're obtuse or whatever, but they're still my thoughts on what's going on in the world. And I just had a montage of videos that I just, showed with the beginning, and I wanted to clarify why those specific videos were taken. The first ones are just, we all see it. It's going to be an election year. The fight's started. The fighting started already. And it's only going to escalate from there. We've seen it with Biden's inauguration way back when, which is in the video I'm going to be showing you. Not Biden's inauguration, but Trump's inauguration. I'm sorry about that. There were clashes when he was inaugurated the first time. And then with this last election, there was a whole bunch of infighting too, and everybody was doing it. Both sides were doing it. The message I want to put out there is personally that I did talk to a personal person I know that is out west, and she says they do pay agitators to do stuff like that. So I want people to understand that, from what my understanding is, politically they do pay agitators to go and rile us up. The donkey and the elephant picture here was perfect, and when I saw that, I was like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. Those two are fighting, so they want all Americans fighting. Why? I don't know. But they do. And I need to put my thoughts in order with this blog, because I have to get it out of my brain, because it's just so much is happening that it's very confusing. People are throwing conspiracy theories out there. People are throwing untruths out there. People are even the media's throwing false information out there. And then you have to weed through what your understanding is and how you're seeing things. And, my grandmother always told me that believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. And every time stuff like this happens with the political arena, that is just 100% a true saying. Because the videos we even see are put out, people want you to see what their side is, so they don't kind of show you the beginning and the end, what the facilitating reasons for their videos are when there's a conflict. I mean, I heard it. Recently, there was an incident surrounding my personal area. Not gonna tell you where and who or anything. It's none of anybody's business, and even if I don't like the person, it's not fair to them if I put it out there. But that particular person was complaining about how the police were interacting with them with a call. And when the police officer that was going to investigate the whole thing, why she was complaining, asked for the video that she took, her response was, well, you can get it when I crop it. Meaning she's not going to share all of it. She's only going to share her side of it. Meaning that, okay, if something did happen to make the police react a certain way that was not to the liking of these individuals, what made them do it? She's not going to show that part. But what these people are missing is showing those parts is the way they're going to get our system to respond better. Because, okay, this happened, and then this was the response, and then now we got a complaint. Now, how can this happen and we responding in a different way or modify the way we're responding? Now, on a national level, this actually goes into perfectly to the response of the shooter with Trump. So this was on a personal level in my general vicinity. Like I said, it's not fair, even if I don't like the person or persons that I speak of. First of all, I don't like them, but and now I don't know them because I just pulled away when the things happened, the actions happened that I wasn't totally happy with. And it was my judgment to pull away because of the way certain people acted. Actions, nothing else. So anyways, that actually is a good lead into one of the areas of this video that I want to do is on a grander scale. It's trickling down now to our little area. And that's what's going on. I mean, it starts in California. I'm in Connecticut. I noticed way back when I went to California with the music, Teenage Wasteland was playing, just came out there. It was great. It was in the 80s when I went. Teenage Wasteland was just released, and it was so popular in California. It was unbelievable. Well, I didn't see it become popular till like a year or two later in Connecticut. That's how long it took to get to my area in Connecticut. Okay, I live in a sheltered area in a cow town. Well, near a cow town now. But so now the politics that have been plaguing the country have been trickling in. And I'm not going to say where, how specifically, but I've noticed a trend. And the trend isn't new. It's not a new concept. And this stuff has been going on. Little does America realize all the stuff that's going on in America that's confusing us today has been going on in Australia for like years. I'm talking to my friends there. Why do I have Australian friends on my Facebook? That's one of the reasons. And they're the nicest people, too. I'm finding out, they're more than welcome to help. Even in other places around the world, if they look at us right now, they don't like America. We are laughed at a lot by the negative people. People that don't like building people up, the people that like saying, hey, look how big and bad I am. I don't care whether or not you're strengthened. Those people are putting us Americans down. They don't like us. All right? They're laughing at us. And as an American, I don't really like people who are not Americans laughing at us. I mean, I'm separating only because of this great big world, and we're actually separated as nations. Otherwise, I believe that we're all earthlings. It doesn't matter who we are, where we come from. We're all flesh and blood. Every single spanking one of us. Unless you subscribe to the theory that reptilians are on the earth. That's another video for another day. I don't want to talk about that today. What I want to talk about is subversion and what I'm seeing. I'm not very versed in things, okay? I have been reading things when I found out that when the colonies were created, when they came over from the different countries over the pond there, when I was reading something that was it was written in like 1500. I was reading logs and stuff from archives. It's National Archives, you can get some books from there on history. and they're not altered unless you take the butterfly effect. I think it's the butterfly effect. I'm not sure. Forgive me, Bill. But unless you take the effect where the books are changing without our knowledge into account. I was always taught in school that one of the original reasons why everybody came over here was to escape the tyranny of the king. Then imagine my surprise, good 40 years later, I'm dating my age, 30, 40 years later, I am reading that the people who established our colonies were subject to the king and queen and were directly linked to the church. They were supplying all our monies. Now, everybody can say all they want. Whoever feeds you your money is who you are a slave to. So, our colonies were a slave to the kings and queens and overseas. We were not escaping anything. We were still under their quote-unquote umbrella. And it's a good term to use because it's in our songs too now. And the songs that are negative. Alright? It's an umbrella. I'm going to use that term. It's a good term to use. We're under the umbrella of the king and queen and, guess what? The Roman Catholic Church. I do not believe that there was a fall of Rome. I'm just getting my thoughts out. Don't bash me for this. Hear me out. Reading how the Roman Empire subverted every religion that was around at that time to control the peoples, and knowing that they infiltrated into the Roman Catholic, into the Christian faiths, and knowing and reading the fact that the way, which is the original term for Jesus Christ's people, for Christianity, was a very peaceful religion. And it was gaining popularity. And what I read was the way was comprised of the mostly criminals and the lowest of the low. People who were poor too. However, that particular religion or way was gaining popularity among all the religions that were going on there. It wasn't just the Sadducees, the Pharisees, the Jews, it wasn't just them. There's a whole bunch of religions out there. Now, you keep in mind the Roman Empire already subverted like Greek goddesses and stuff like that. So here comes the way, and they come into play now. Now, in the Bible, I'm taught that, the generations really, you can't claim generations. However, the Roman Catholic Church has a succession of popes to claim succession in generations. Figure how that works. There are a lot of similarities, and I do plan on going down that rabbit hole, but that's going to take a couple years of weeding out. But the first thing that surprises me is the way the Roman government subverted religion and just took over to control their people. So, and this was right, I think, before or after the fall of Rome supposedly happened. Now let's look at this for what it's worth. It's called the Roman Catholic Church. Its Vatican City is its own, okay? Own city. I think it's its own country too. It's the Vatican. It's the Roman Catholic Church. What they did was they took and put dioceses, I can't even pronounce those words, into different countries. So they changed the rules on government, on the way they governed their people. Because back then, whoever had control of the religion, the popular religions, or the religion in general, are the ones who had control of the populace of people. Get it? So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to be this major governor for the state and everything, what they're doing is they're like, okay, I'm going to send you out. You're going to run this diocese. And the diocese is going to run the people, basically. And a lot of our kings and queens always looked up to these churches. I don't know how to put that into words, but it's another thing I'm seeing that's coming to light, and that's in the back of my head for psychic purposes or whatever you want to call it. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. And with that, it's so hot here. I have ice water next to me, and what I did when I sat back down is kind of dumped my whole thing of water all over the place. Okay. Now, with that being said about the Roman government and what type of thoughts I'm piecing together there, like I said, they subverted the religion. Romans are now under the umbrella of the Roman Catholic Church, which is under the umbrella of the Way. And if you look at their art and stuff, you got your Roman art statues, you got statues from different religions like Greek religion and stuff like that, depicted all over the place with them. So it's not, the religion is, as far as the Way goes, as far as Jesus goes, that religion is not a nasty religion. But the people that are in it have always been the lowest of the low, people shunned. All right. One of the things that got me when I was reading about the colonies is when they took our Native Americans and put them into these prayer camps. And they told them if they didn't convert, they would kill them. The Way, Jesus' way, not the way of the Romans or the government, Jesus' way, Jesus healed the ear of the person who was capturing him and told his disciple to put the knife or sword down. All right? Jesus called people to him. And then he mimicked the behaviors. He modeled the behaviors to the people of what it's like to be a child of God. He didn't tell them convert or else. He said, come to me. As a matter of fact, they actually turned people away when they knew, because Jesus knew everybody's heart, that they weren't serious with or committed to their baptism, basically, why they were being baptized. They called them a brood of vipers. So they turned them away. They didn't kill them. They didn't allow them. Why? Because, it would have been detrimental to the person's soul. And it would have been a major misrepresentation of God and the way. So those are two. Okay, now the convert or else I'll kill you. That's something a Rome would have done. The Roman government would have done. That's not something the way would have done. They were like, okay, you know what? I don't want to convert you because you're not right. You got to get right before you come to me. So that's the stark differences I'm seeing as far as why I am thinking the way I am with the umbrella of the Roman Catholic Church, and I don't think Rome ever fell. I think they stayed in the Roman Catholic Church. These are all just hypotheses thrown out there. Rabbit holes to go down. I don't know. I didn't live in that time. Neither did any of us, honestly, unless we're reincarnated or we're immortal. So, anyway, bringing this all back to 2024, an umbrella. All right, companies. We're a capitalist society. Companies from overseas, most notably China, Italy, will come in here in America and buy out companies that made a name for themselves. And this was going on 1990s and 2000s, early 2000s, because this is when I was seeing this. It happened in the companies I worked for. They'll buy the company, keep the company's name American, the same name, and yet they'd run it from China or Italy or wherever they're located out of the United States. So, we're an umbrella for a Chinese businessman to come in and take over our commerce, our monies, our businesses. And as I stated before, when I was speaking about the Queen and how we actually wasn't escaping the tyranny because we were actually being slaves for them. It can be said in this day and age that Americans are being slaves for these overseas companies, making them monies. Because that's who's paying our paychecks, and that's who's feeding our kids, and that's who's keeping the roof over our heads. So there's that term. The Chinese government is subverting our businesses and using them as umbrellas to come into our country. Stranger things have happened. Okay? Get into this photo. I really don't want to talk about that. But it must. It must happen. Because recently, since 2020, when I forget whether it was Trump or Biden, I think it was Biden, had a diversity commercial to get the African American vote. He showed showgirls twerking in his ads in the beginning of his campaign. This was the start of, and I'm not playing those videos again, those videos disgust me, taking and using our children as umbrellas and our children's institutions and events as umbrellas to sneak in a certain type of government to control us. Why else would you have an adult entertainer in a grammar school? And don't argue with me, because I have spoken to my friend who is an adult entertainer. He is gay, and he is a performer. The two things that I showed you on this with that is that it is child abuse. It is sexual coercion. A child given an adult entertainer money is something that happens in strip clubs, not in our schools. A lap dance is something that happens in strip clubs, not in our schools. And yet, these people, and you're allowing, and all you parents who think this is great and are allowing your kids to do this, you should be held accountable first. You're the parent. Why are you giving money to your child and holding your child's hand out to give it to an adult entertainer? Would you go to a strip club and let them give it to a woman that's stripping down naked? Shame on you. Like, my kid's almost 20 and I don't want her to witness that shit. And having a lap dance in a school? Really? Our electric blue down the road just got shut down. We have rules in our strip clubs that are more lax than what you're doing in our schools. They're not more lax, they're more, they're more controlled. So to see this happen in schools, and this is all I'm saying about that, because I'm not showing those pictures again because it disgusts me that much that I want to puke. That's child abuse. You're abusing our kids. And the parents are letting it happen. The institutions are letting it happen. Why? Because there's an umbrella over our kids' institutions with people trickling in with their political agenda. My daughter said it best. My daughter said that all these people that are complaining and protesting and doing stuff like I just mentioned is given the LGBTQ plus category of persons who are actually legitimately in that the group who just want to live their lives as who they are, a bad name. And I agree with her. Because you know what? My friend who is a drag queen and who is gay, we get along just fine. I love him. Who am I to sit there and judge him? I'm not his judge. God is. Does he subscribe to my belief system? No, he does not. So who am I to sit there and tell him he's wrong? He's not mine to discipline. He is God's child to discipline. He is my person to love. It's like all the unlovable yous out there that I don't love, that I try to. People that I don't care about, people that I don't see eye to eye with, people that I get angry with, people that really piss me off, people that, I really don't like. I do not want any harm coming to them, and I actually try to lift them up in with my voice to God and say, please give them a better thing. One person, good example is my prayer. And I'm not holier than thou. I am not perfect. I have fallen from grace many times, and I think I'm in a fault right now. But that person, I can't stand them. They've done me wrong. They've said wrong things. They talk to me wrong, everything. And you know what? I still want good for them. It's not hard to want somebody to do well when you realize just because you don't like them and you don't get along with them and you don't have to be in their lives, which you don't, doesn't mean they don't have people that do want to be in their lives and do love them. You know what it means? It means I don't understand them. It means I don't understand their situations. It means I'm not strong enough to help them through their situations. I'm not a therapist, and I'm not a drug and alcohol counselor. I'm not any of that. Okay? So what do? I leave the person alone. I leave them alone unless they get in intrude upon my little world and my space and my daughter's well-being. I leave them alone. Unless I see them really abusing themselves or their children, I leave them alone. Not every parenting style is the same. Not everybody's, you're not going to agree with everybody. And you know what? You can't force them to be in agreement with you. If you have to force yourself on somebody and try to force them, you're going to be the miserable one because they might agree with you like I do sometimes. I agree with people even though I don't agree with them. I let them view things the way they want. When you have to sit there and force yourself on somebody or force yourself into an institution where you're clearly not, where it has a name, okay, the Boy Scouts. Why do I want to be in the Boy Scouts anyways? Why? They got the Girl Scouts. They do the same things. They really do. Girls and boys sports, the only reason they have those is because genetically and bodily we are different. And you can't deny that. You can go through a process, and I'm not against this if you're truly wanting to do it. You can go through the transition process all you want, but there's certain things you're never going to change unless you cut off your arms. You're not going to change the fact that the creases of your elbows are different. Okay, male and female elbow creases are pointing in different directions, meaning that certain things that men do, women can't do, or vice versa. Our arms are made even different. You can't shave. You can shave an Adam's apple, but you can't shave yeah, unless you have an unsightly scar there, or unless you cut off your arms. What are you going to do? There are certain things in men and women genetically and biologically that you're never going to change. And I always put this out there, and somebody did make sense with this one, but if you come up missing and your bones are the only thing that's gonna say that that's who you are, you need that paper that says you're male or female at birth. You can't deny it. You need that. How are your loved ones gonna love you more? How are they gonna know where you are? How are they gonna find you? Stuff like that. It just boggles my brain. I'm not intolerant. I don't judge people by that stuff. I judge you by your actions. And the only reason I judge you is to determine whether I want me or my child near you. Or acting together with you. So anyways, this is the thing with this. You got drag queens going into schools now, in grade schools. They don't belong there. And good God, if you're a business owner like that little girl was holding money, think before you let that happen. Because then you're turning into more of a strip club than a sandwich shop. There's rules. How can I say this? There are many other places that are designed for kids and events that are designed for kids that, and I'm not going to go red, blue, Democrat, Republicans, y'all. I have a feeling it's like I said, the umbrella term. I think it's more like what the Roman government did with Roman Catholicism. The way I explained that. But you're hiding behind children and women. Are women's groups designed to make us better parents as women that are single parents? Women's groups like that are being subverted and made political. And all the groups are intending to do is make a better way for our children. So, having the parents succeed in raising the kids is detrimental to whether or not we have raised our future adult to be able to cope with life and handle life when we go. And with the government's subversion of these groups, what you are basically telling us is we suck at parenting. We can't handle it. We cannot do it. That's what your government is doing. So, not only is it appropriate to be an adult white male in this country now, this is not my thoughts, by the way. This is the way it's looking. You model behaviors. You're intolerant. You're intolerant of the average white American male who is romantically and physically attracted to a female. You are telling him it's wrong to be that way. What do you think this does to our kids? Now, I'm not, okay, I don't want to call you a lefty or me a righty. I want to leave those terms out of this, but this picture is what I see. Have been seeing since 2020. I am tolerant, but she's shouting at him, forcing her beliefs onto him. You know what type of energy that throws out to a person spiritually? It sucks. That man doesn't have to agree with her on anything. Really? Honestly. The picture's worth 1,000 words. This is what you're doing to our kids. This is where I want to talk about tolerance. That's not tolerance. That is being taught to you. You are being taught to say, if you don't agree with me, that makes you all of this. No. Just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I don't have to agree with you. You are another human being just like I am. The difference between you and me is you are being used by an agenda, by a political agenda. Whether it's the right, left, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. It's all the umbrella of a political agenda. Think for yourself. Why are you allowing political crap in an agenda to make you treat your fellow human like crap and garbage? Going into your own families and friends you've grown up with. You've always been there for each other until right and left happened. Democrat and Republican happened. I have a very strong right-handed Republican, a bunch of them, friends. I really do. Do I agree with everything they say? No. Do I have to? No. Do I have to make them see my viewpoint? No. All this video is doing is trying to get this out in my head. It's a blog. I have and in my family, by the way, I have family members who are all the way to the left of me in Democratic or whatever umbrella you want to put, fascist, anti-fascist, whatever. It's all labels. They're all the way to the left. Now, I don't lean that way. I lean more towards the right. That's where I'm leaning, okay? Because I'm seeing on the left this. I don't want to join that party. It's not my party, and I don't want to cry. And I don't want to treat people like shit. You're not going to get me to treat somebody else like crap. I am not going to tell somebody if they don't agree with me that makes them a racist. I will not tell somebody that he's sexist like that. I will not say he's homophobic. Islamophobic. Do I call people narcissists? Yeah. Narcissistic personality disorder is a real thing. Abusers, yeah. I call them abusers. That's abuse right there. What this woman is doing to this man is abuse. It's abuse. Plain and simple. If you don't agree with me, I'm going to make you agree with me. I'm going to shout at you. I'm going to mock you. I'm going to pick on you. I am going to emasculate you. I am going to do everything in my power to make you submit to me. It's abuse. Would you allow a domestic partner to psychologically, emotionally, verbally, and physically abuse you? And I know a lot on this subject, so don't, this is something that I'm very adamant on. All that stuff was done to me. Alienation. What you doing? Alienating people. Cisgender males are alienated. You're trying to alienate them. That's not right. That is the epitome of abuse. You are abusing people when you do that. Why? Because an agenda set up by a political system. You are being programmed and told what to do and how to do it. And yet you feel that it's your own thoughts. Shut the damn TV off. Don't watch political things anymore. Sit with yourself. Unprogram yourself. I'm leaving my religion out of this, telling you this. You need to be deprogrammed. It's sickening. You're being programmed to abuse people, abuse the system. I know somebody that I can't talk about it or I'll oust it. But the person is being abused by politically. And you know what? It sucks. It stinks. And all you people that don't live in America that are just throwing, sitting there having a chuckle at all this, at people that are hurt by this, shame on you. You're not big and bad. Go sit in your shroud of perfectness while the rest of us try to navigate this. Because America is being abused by the systems. I say systems. I'll tell you one thing. I told you I lean more towards the right, more towards the Republican. Okay? I'll tell you another thing. I don't like Trump the man. From what I see of him, because I don't personally know him, I view him as a womanizing narcissist. And I don't necessarily like them. I don't want to work for him. I don't want to be friends with him. I don't want to know him. As far as picking somebody to run my country, you expect me to pick somebody to run our country when I can't pick somebody to run my own home. Does that make sense? And one of my friends said it best. With candidates, you don't know them. They don't know you. What you're voting for is what the idea and idealism and all that. That's what you're voting for. You're not voting for the person. You don't know the person. So if I voted and I voted for Trump, I'm voting for what he's promising me and what's behind him, the ideals. Because as a person, I don't know him and I don't even like him or trust him. Okay? But I'd still vote for him. Because on the other side, I see way more than just Democrats under that umbrella. So, yeah. There you go. Are they going to incite me to violence? No. I'm my own person. I will not become violent for somebody else that I don't know. I will not be mean to somebody for somebody I don't know. You need to have human integrity intact, and you gotta say no at some point. I want to show you where I'm coming from. In these demonstrations, I've seen some really, really terrible things. And if you ask me, some of these people were possessed. There was one guy that I can't find the video. I swear, when he trampled at the police officer, you could see he was possessed in his eyes. This guy definitely was possessed. These other ones, you'd swear, are possessed. And they were in the United States. I know this has been going on in overseas for some time, where there was one guy that protested by barking the whole time, and then I saw a headline where, people that identify as dogs barked and stuff. But no, I see these people, when they were clashing, the right and the left, when Democrats and Republicans were actually clashing, the Democrats were fucking barking like dogs at the Republicans. It was disgusting and pitiful, but it's like, what the fuck is going on with our country? Why are they doing it? We tried to brush it off as COVID brain. They're just acting stupid. But I found out last night where they get it from. And this is what I'm talking about. You're not thinking for yourself. You're basically doing what you're told to do. So, guess what? You're programmed. let me get that clip up if I can get it into crosshairs here. If I can't, I'll shut the video down and I'll turn it back on. Okay, now here's the video I came across last night, and I'm like, oh wow, this is why everybody's barking. The left's barking at the right. This is called programming.
Immediate reaction as to whether it was true or not. Well, we've trained this dog, and the dog, if it's not true, he's going to bark. And then the dog was barking on the radio, and so people were like barking at each other for days after that. I'm trying to figure out how we can do that with the Republicans. We need to get that dog and follow them around, and every time they say these things, like, oh, the Great Recession was caused by too much regulation.
How disgusting is that? So, all you barkers out there, I mean, it's not funny. Makes you look like an ass. This woman is making an ass out of you because you're doing what she said. Take what she said in the beginning. You take these dogs and you train them to bark every time something isn't true. She's calling you all dogs. You're her dogs. When you hear something you think is not true, keep in mind, you don't know everything. Honestly, did you know this video existed to where she called, did you really listen to her? She called you dogs. We're going to train the dogs to make them bark when things aren't true. And then she goes around, she makes a joke of it, makes it look funny to you, so now you're doing it. It makes you look like asses. Because instead of coming up with substance, instead of counteracting something somebody says in a quote-unquote debate, you're barking at them. College students that are taught to debate in a debate club are barking at Republicans. They say something. You think about it. If you know it's not true, you counteract with an equal, intelligent answer. You don't bark at somebody. Barking is basically diminishing you to dogs. And that's what Hillary did. She made a mockery out of you. Do you think I'd bark at people? I'm not going to compromise myself for that. I don't know this woman. She stayed with a man who fucking cheated on her. Personal life. That you are judged by your actions. She stayed with a man who cheated on her. In a more intimate way than just getting his you-know-what wet. Because anybody that can put their mouth around somebody's yoo-hoo is doing something more intimate. Okay, this video is like an hour long almost as it is, so I'm just going to wrap this up. I have more to document and more thoughts to get out. Basically, I'm going to wrap this up by letting you all know I did this. The reason I don't know how to use my microphone on my headset, so I'm like talking louder now. I got the headset away so that I'm not blowing into the mic. I'm sorry about that. But I really, it's really thought provoking. It's the reason why I'm putting this online. Is just to know what other people feel about what if anybody else has looked into this stuff. The other thing is I really want to get my certain feelings out. And one of the things I did create this question: is forced inclusion really inclusion, or is it a delusion given individuals a false sense of security? Now, before this, at the tail end of what I just said, I was going to go into something about Trump, because I don't want to just bring up something I see with the one side doing that the other side's, perfect. The other side's not perfect. I mean, the whole government is messed up. And this is why I included the speech that the country and western star that I've never heard him sing even. I'm gonna have to go listen to some of his music, but I liked what he had to say. However, there at the end there was an iffy thing on, and I do subscribe to some conspiracy theories, so don't I'm not total conspiracy theories, and I'm not about to you know piss on an assassination attempt, put it that way. Um, I've seen, oh, that's another thing. I've seen people arguing in posts that are trying to honor the dead person and the injured. One of the problems, like I said in my video, is people, especially it seems these Democrats, I don't know. It could be both sides. But people don't know time. Adults are not getting it. There's a time and a place for everything. If there is a post honoring a dead person and somebody who's been hurt, you do not take your political arguments into that post. You do not mock it. All right? That's not cool. That hurts people's feelings. We're not out to hurt people's feelings. All America's been doing since 2020 is hurting people's feelings and being separated. Why? Because of the umbrellas that are created through, and I'm seeing other countries coming in. I'm not just seeing the United States, okay? I gotta be honest with that. There's a conspiracy out there, a few of them, but it's an umbrella. It's not the United States. And it's not the peoples of the United States. The peoples are just being controlled by these umbrellas, kind of like when I was talking about what the Roman government was doing. Somebody has infiltrated us to do and has used things as umbrellas. I mean, it came right out with the organization and group that was out in 2020 that was famous, that I'm not going to mention the name. But there's a lot of things that came out with that. And there's an umbrella there. You got to look for these umbrellas. And if you're not being paid, especially to do these things, then you shouldn't be doing them, because you're being used by these umbrellas. And these umbrellas, sad to say, do not come from this country. Let me say that again. The umbrellas, the people coming in, are not from this country, and you're doing their work for them. Whether, there's a conspiracy theory out there about even population control, whether it's for that, whether it's for ecosystem, whether it's for global domination and one world government, doesn't matter what the reason is, but we are a nation that we were forced to believe something that wasn't really true. Even our existence as a nation, with our founders, was forced inclusion. We killed Native Americans to come here and be here. I'm sure there was some pleasant exchanges, but we also brought our disease, and we brought a lot of things to them, and then we tried to force them to include them in our religion, which I have a major feeling it wasn't the religion, it was more the government trying to subvert, because the governments are the ones that want more land, right? More area, more dominance. Let's face it, even today, I mean, even though we have dollars and monies, things currency, you think about it, the one who owns the land is the one who's got more control. Point blank. More land and more livestock. Are we livestock? You want to sit there and throw around the term sheep? I mean, to me, being called a sheep is actually a good thing, because I am Christian and I do love Jesus Christ and he is the good shepherd. So if I'm a sheep, I'm his sheep. But people are forcing themselves into these organizations, and then they're, thinking they're included in something bigger. They're doing it they're thinking. But they're under the delusion that they're secure. And they're not secure because it's the umbrellas that are using them. And Hillary didn't come out and say, okay, act like dogs and bark at people. She didn't do that. No, she just kind of subtly said it. She knows damn well that if she says something, she's important enough, the nation's listening, that there's certain people that'll listen to her. And so is the music industry. There's a whole big thing Mr. Bill Bean has spoken about with the music industry about their influence. When they say to do something, you do it. I mean, it's just, it's a false sense. It's a delusion. It's a false sense of security. But what they do is they subtly put things into, and I'm including that. I was trying to figure out just now why I was saying that, but in my brain, this is part of it. Like I said, I'm trying to get out my thoughts. In my brain, in the music industry, we have a few songs out there that glorify murder. They actually glorify it in the song, in the lyrics. And even though, people can say that's not why the song was written, that's not what it's about, that, it is a form of art, yada, yada, yada. The average person that is even the slightest, has the slightest bit of autism is going to eat that up and think it's, oh yeah. And the person who's quote unquote not feeling like they're fitting in, and let's face it, children, what teenager feels like they fit in? Okay, they're going to eat it up and they're going to just follow the crowd. They're just going to follow what they're told to do. And if you're listening to a song over and over and over and over again, in the brain, out the brain. You think about it, this particular song glorifies and actually says the lyrics, it isn't a party unless somebody gets shot. You wonder why? There's more parties, more shootings. There you go. I'm part of something. They're part of something. Kids want to be a part of something. They don't care what it is. If it looks cool and it makes them look cool and they think they look cool, they're going to fucking do it. This kid, and yes, he is a kid. People call him a man. 20-year-olds. I'm 55. A 20-year-old is a kid. I mean, Kyle Rittenhouse, he was pretty cool with, he's pretty good with a gun. Doesn't mean they're not good with guns, or they are. It just means, that has nothing to do with the training. This kid, when I looked at his picture, and when I look at pictures, sometimes I can get psychic impressions. Honestly, I put him. One influencer said he looked like he had ADHD. To me, not ADHD, but fetal alcohol syndrome. And he does have characteristics on his face with that, but I think it's more so he also has a deficit somewhere. And he's also on the spectrum. So if something like this was, and to me, it looked, when I looked at him and looked at his energies and looked through him, which I didn't mean to do, I just looked at his picture real quick. Um, he has, and people have said it, he has all the characteristics of a school shooting. I'm surprised he didn't shoot the crowd when they were ousting him. That's the dangerous part of that whole scenario. People were yelling and screaming he was on the roof. He didn't, and there were kids on the ground. Again, our children are put at risk. I'm surprised that kid didn't turn the gun on those people that were outing him. Honestly, when I looked at his picture, he doesn't seem, how can I put it? Because, you know, intelligent is subjective to the term. I don't like calling people intelligent, unintelligent. In science, your intellect is rated by the IQ score. Like the average IQ being around 100. A lower end is like under 80. He just, the Flash is like under the 80 IQ. Meaning, if he's being bullied and stuff, he wants to be a part of a bigger something. And I also got an image of death by suicide by cop. If you're going to shoot at the President of the United States, guaranteed suicide. Guaranteed. I don't understand, and I don't have to understand it. Get it? We don't have to understand everything. I mean, we deserve to understand it and deserve the answers, but I don't understand. I was always told that a police officer, and this was told to me by somebody on the inside, is because I was questioning why you can't take out kneecaps when you're shooting. Why do you shoot to kill? I mean, if you take out somebody's kneecap, they're going to go down. And most cops are good shots. My thing is the cop went up on there, looked at him, he turned his gun on the cop, and the cop didn't shoot him. If cops are trained to shoot to kill, wouldn't that be is that the cop having control of himself enough to know that he doesn't want to kill this kid? Or is that the cop backing down? I don't know. I was always taught cops were trained. I mean, his life was obviously in danger when the kid turned around, and that's the first question I'd have. Shoot first, ask questions later. The guy had a automatic weapon, and I was doing my duty as a police officer with security. The kid turned his gun on me. I shot him. That's self-defense. But it didn't happen that way. It said the cop just totally backed away. Unless I wasn't there. None of us were. So unless that didn't happen that way, I just don't understand that part of it. Secret Service and stuff, I'd have to really, I never looked at their website to see. I mean, from what I understand, perimeters, everything's treated differently with a person that's a non-candidate as far as, or somebody is president. But either way, I'm just thanking God, and I hate the fact that somebody died. I hate the fact that they were injured. I hate the fact that a man got his ear shot. You know, Trump getting up, I was thinking about this. Your ear is your balance. So if he's got a bullet whizzing by his eardrum and shooting, taking out, going through his ear, I mean, what are the chances that his balance would have been off and he got back up? I don't know. That's just questions I throw out. Like, This one. Is forced inclusion really inclusion or is it delusion? If you have to force your way into a boys club if you're a girl, are you really going to be included in that club? Look at the guy who forced his way into the swimming thing and won. It's a delusion. He's got a false sense of security. You know what it did? It made it so that he could win. Because he sucked at swimming with the men's team. I mean, and then there's also the scariest part to me is having sex offenders in these areas where the umbrellas are going into our kids and being around them. Because there was an article that I read that there was a sex offender that wasn't supposed to be around kids. Child sex offender dressed up as a drag queen reading to children. Obviously, that library did not do a background check on this person, or this person lied about who they were. But you get sickos that will say they're one thing when they're not, just to get access that they're not allowed to have. And these are your children. It's your job as a parent to protect your children. Step up and do it. It's not the government's job. It's not the school's job to protect your child. It's not these establishments. I mean, sure, we expect our children to be safe in these places, but ultimately, it's your job. And it's the people who don't want to do their job that are sitting there saying it takes a village are the ones that are trying to take away our nuclear family, trying to say that the establishment's wrong, the government's wrong. Well, it all starts in your home. You're the parent. Your responsibility. You take care and protect your child. You don't hand your child money to give to a drag queen at a performance. It's child abuse. You should be charged. Anyway, so these kids that are actually these people that are forcing themselves into these things that, I mean, even religion. Let's talk the Roman Catholic Church, and the male being the head of the church, regardless of what. I mean, they've had rules for forever. The church has. A priest is a biological or a male. Always has been, always will be. Why, if you're a female, there's a whole body of, there's believers everywhere. Different places everywhere. Why do you want to force the Catholic Church to down to their knees to allow women as priests, if that's the way it's been? Why do you want to force them? So it just means it's not the right place for you. They do have women ministers everywhere. And women do represent the Catholic Church as far as nuns go. I don't know one man that has ever stated they wanted to become a nun. I hear all these women saying, I want to be a priest. Well, it's not a priest. It's called a priestess, first of all. And there are other churches and other denominations of the Christian religion that you can go and be able to talk in. It does not have to be the Catholic Church. I've never heard of a man state that he wanted them to accept men as nuns. You don't hear it. Forced inclusion, is it really inclusion or is it a delusion giving individuals a false sense of security? If you got in there and you were a priest, would you have a false sense of security? Because you know what? You're going to get your foot in the door and you're still going to be looked at funny. You have enough money for all those lawsuits? So last I heard that lawyers don't work for free. So if you go through a traumatic experience by actually getting discriminated against and abused in one of these places, and you've already complained and complained and complained, it's like the little boy who cried wolf, and you're still going to have money you're going to have to dish out to people to defend you. And what's going to happen? You're also dishing out money to fix your psychological self, because that shit hurts. You're actually putting yourself in a place, in a position to be hurt. We have a responsibility to ourselves. Hear me out. I'm a Christian. Love others as you love yourself. Not before you love yourself, not after you love yourself, not any of that. As you love yourself. You have a responsibility to love yourself enough not to put yourself in a position where you're going to get hurt. If me forcing myself into a man's institution is going to put me in a place where I'm going to get hurt emotionally, do you think it's worth it? No, life is too short. I'm already 55. It was yesterday I was 5. That's one of the conclusions I'm coming to. The other thing is I do know at the end of this video, and I just want to state this real quick. With the country singer singing, he does put up the okay sign. And I don't care what anybody else says. That's not a white supremacist sign. Maybe to you it is. To me, the okay sign has always been on a list of, dare I say, another conspiracy theory, Illuminati symbols, and symbols that you want to stay away from. It's been touted as a very evil symbol. I'm like, he was saying 3 points, and he was doing the okay symbol. Like, y'all see an eye, It represents more than white supremacy. Before white supremacy, that symbol was not considered white supremacy. It was always a sign of the music establishment, Illuminati, and Satanism. I do understand he put that sign up when he was speaking of the red, white, and blue. I turned around and said, okay, I put my 3 middle fingers up for the number 3. There's 3 things that I care about. But he put, I think I've seen people use the okay symbol for the 3 things. I think I've seen that before. So I believe that it depends on who is doing the symbolization and their intent. You never know their intent. Person's intentions are everything, believe it or not. Not everybody intends to be rude to you or intends the 3, symbol. But, I mean, I could be wrong with that one because he is a music establishment and he used it, and, he could have been doing that as a, umbrella, under the umbrella. My thing is, don't go out there and fight. Don't go to the streets. Don't protest. Don't get into clashes. Take care of yourself. Don't compromise your integrity. Go out and vote if you want to make a change. And for crying out loud, if you are going to do those things, do not bring your children. That puts them in a spot where they're going to have PTSD and a lot of counseling when they get older. And then you're going to wonder why. And so are they. Protect our children first. We need to protect ourselves. Have a great day and an even better tomorrow. I might advance this, but I think I just said what I wanted to say at the end. When I watched the other video I was going to show, I misinterpreted what the woman had said on it. So I shut down the video. I hate being wrong, first of all. Second of all, I couldn't believe I was wrong. Third of all, it was just a matter, to give myself credit, it was just a matter of me not understanding the way everything was being said, and the fact that there was kind of a southern accent. So I misheard what she said. So that's why that video wasn't played. The rest of it, I'm gonna leave until I get more of my mind cleared. If you have any thoughts, leave them down in the comments below. I know negativity runs rampant on YouTube, so even if it's negative, I don't have to agree with you, but I will. Depending on how negative it is, I will take it down. I want positive. This country has hope. We just need the hope to go in the right direction. We need people coming together and saying, okay, I'm not going to bark at people. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. I will vote as long as you take care of me. Right now, they're saying vote, but I'm not going to take care of you. I don't care about you. That's what they're saying.